What's your name?
Did you wonder what caused that? Just review.
We'll now call this meeting of the Jacksonville City Council to order. I want to welcome everyone who's come out for tonight's meeting. I know a lot of you are here for presentations, and we got some very good presentations tonight that we're happy to do. And but also I want to welcome those that are watching the meeting on G10 television. We're going to begin the evening by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Council Member Robert Warden, followed by the invocation by Mr. John Carter.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we pause this evening to give you thanks. To give you thanks for this day, for the blessings you so graciously bestow upon each of us and upon our city of Jacksonville. We pray for all those who have been affected by Hurricane Florence and Michael. We pray that your presence will be with them as they begin the process of rebuilding their lives and their lost property. Comfort them in their time of loss. We pray for those who are serving in our military here and around the world, for their safety and for their anxious families. And as always, we pray for our mayor and for our council, that your guidance and your direction will be with them. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, Council, I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda that you've been presented with for tonight's meeting with an add-on of an E under presentations to add a presentation by Rolling Thunder. Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're going to have some presentations. I'm going to come around front. I've asked Councilmember Washington to join me up front here. We're going to look at doing some Gold Star Award presentations for beautification, our Clean and Green campaign. And we have some of our Clean and Green members here. The Clean and Green Awards are presented by the Jacksonville Environmental and Appearance Advisory Committee to recognize homes and commercial sites within the city that have outstanding visual appearance, outstanding recycling efforts, and personal or group service to our city that advances the spirit of being clean and green. With me is, again, Councilmember Washington, and we're going to, let's see, Ed Blizzard's not here. Okay, so we're going to go on to presenting these awards. So at this time, I would like to, okay. We wish to recognize the residents of 608 Independence Drive. Are they present tonight? Okay. This.
You know that's bad luck.
We want to welcome the Whittens here tonight with us, and you're at 608 Independence Drive. The recognition committee immediately liked the mix of well-kept landscaping, inviting seating, and scenes placed around your yard. The charming home has been decorated with a variety of plants and hardscaping that make a statement. Well-manicured trees are shapely and complement the appearance of the front of the home. A palm tree is surprise punctuation to the symmetry of the forward presentation. A potted and raised garden give the front a welcome home look, and the well-done lawn is spotless and well-kept. This is a welcoming home and a tribute, and we wish to honor Betty Whitten for, I guess you're the one who did all the work? Okay. All right. Yes. we'd like to present you with this nice little clean and green. And thank you for that. Thank you for making our city more beautiful.
It's our pleasure.
For your effort. Thank you. That was something. I invite all those associated with Stevie and Marcia McLaurin to come forward. And you must be Marcia.
Yeah.
How you doing? Come over here and stand next to me. Okay. All right. We wish to recognize the residents of 105 East Carrington Way. Elephant ears.
Yes.
Well, we've not had very good luck growing them in my yard. My weed eater gets in the way of them sometimes. Elephant ears welcome the eye to this home. They play in the front of the yard. In the front, landscaping and mixed with whimsical grass globes and potted plants. They all rest well together with well-trimmed evergreens held back by hardscapes that define and make the yard. A door display further welcomes guests and passersby to this lovely home. This is a showcase that truly indicates someone cares about the appearance of their home. So we'd like to give you this nice,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
and thank you so much for your contribution to the beautification of our
Yes, sir.
city.
Thank you.
We like recognizing businesses and residents for their outstanding work as far as making the visual appearances so wonderful to look at in our city. It's all part of making our city clean and green, and that's something that we have strived to do. As you know, when you go through some of the thoroughfares and entryways into the city, that a lot of effort has been put forward to make our city one that's we can be proud to call home. So thank you, everyone who does that, makes that contribution. Next, I'd like to, we're going to do a life-saving award, and I'd like to ask Chief Mike Yanero, Director of Public Safety, and Lieutenant Teresa White from the Police Department, Telecommunications Supervisor Christy Smith, and Telecommunicator 1 Lindsay Swan to join me up front. On the afternoon of March 13, 2018, Jacksonville Public Safety personnel was dispatched to Myrtlewood Circle in reference to a call of shots fired with a subject on the ground. Lieutenant Teresa White arrived on scene and observed another officer attending to a subject suffering from a gunshot wound at the 100 block of Myrtlewood Circle. The patient and scene were under control. Bystanders advised officers that the incident took place in the rear of Myrtlewood Circle. Lieutenant White walked to that location and observed a large crowd arguing. She heard someone from the crowd call for help with a person down. Because of the large crowd, it was difficult to see. Lieutenant White observed a glimpse of boots from someone laying on the ground. Lieutenant White pushed her way through the crowd to provide medical assistance. She checked vitals and felt a faint pulse. She observed that the subject was bleeding from the head from an apparent gunshot wound. Lieutenant White continued to provide care to the victim while subjects continued to fight on top of her. She was able to request by radio for additional units to assist. She requested an AED, which is an automated external defibrillator, be brought to the scene when she assessed that the patient was no longer breathing and had no pulse. Lieutenant White continued CPR and patient care as officers arrived on the scene to disperse the crowd and provide security. EMS assumed patient care upon their arrival on the scene. Both gunshot victims were transported for medical care. Their medical recovery continues. The victims were siblings. Communications Supervisor Christy Smith and Dispatcher Lindsay Swain received multiple calls about the incident while it was occurring and had to determine that there were individuals struck by gunfire and to quickly relay information to the responding officers. Their swift and calm response in the 911 center played a valuable role in this situation and is worthy of the life-saving award. Lieutenant White's actions in providing life-saving efforts in a dangerous and volatile situation is commendable. It is due to her response that a mother has 2 of her children alive today. Her swift and courageous actions prevented a tragedy and are very much worthy of the life-saving award. And I'd like to present these awards to you at this time. Lieutenant White. Good job. Proud of you.
Ladies?
Excellent
ladies,
work.
Ladies? Let's get some good. Let's get some good. Mayor, you been there?
Let's get one by ourselves first. Good job, Tracy. Now I have some more life-saving awards I'd like to present tonight. And now I'd like to ask JPD officers Alan Bergman, Robert Mendoza, Joseph Williams, Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services Firefighter 3 James Rarden, Firefighter 2 Brandon Barnett, Firefighter 1 Victor Salazar, Firefighter Trainee Nicholas Bowles, Driver Operator 2 Benjamin Frank, and Driver Operator 1 Scott Brown. Am I leaving anybody out? Okay. Guys. There you go. On the afternoon of July 19, 2018, Jacksonville Public Safety was dispatched to a medical emergency occurring outside of a business on the 470 block of Western Boulevard. Upon arrival, JPD officers Bergman, Mendoza, and Williams observed a subject laying on the ground with a person performing chest compression on the victim. The officers observed that the victim's face was blue and asked the person assisting to cease compressions while they assessed the patient. A pulse was initially felt, but it was faint and then stopped completely. Recognizing the signs of an opiate overdose, officers administered a dose of Narcan. Officer Mendoza prepared the AED while Officer Bergman took over chest compressions, checking regularly for a pulse. Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services Squad 3 arrived on the scene to assist. Driver Operator 3, James Rarden, began ventilations while Firefighter 2, Barnett, took over the CPR. A second dose of Narcan was administered. Engine 3 arrived to assist. Driver Operator 1, Brown, prepared an airway and assisted with ventilations. Firefighter 1, Salazar, assisted with the CPR. Driver Operator 2, Frank, assumed command and directed activities. Firefighter Bowles assisted with the gear as needed. A short time after the arrival of Onslow County EMS, a third dose of Narcan was administered and the return of circulation was achieved. Personnel assisted with the loading of the patient for transport. The quick and decisive actions of these first responders resulted in reviving the victim. Their actions prevented a tragedy and are very worthy of the life-saving award. Firefighter 3, James Warden, Firefighter 1, Victor Salazar, and Driver Operator 1, Scott Brown, could not be present this evening, but we'll make sure that they receive their awards. So, Chief, if you want to.
Thanks, sir.
Good job, fellas.
I said ladies a while ago, so the gentlemen, you got to hold your place. Follow in real close, please.
I want to get all of you first.
Jerry, Artisan, would you come up and stand with your personnel, please? Go Yankees. That's all right. Gentlemen, congratulations.
We want to make some more presentations of life-saving awards. And at this time, I'd like to ask JPD officers Katie Stepney and Dylan O'Dwyer, and Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services Firefighter 2, Sahara Sullivan, and Driver Operator 1, Robert Hunt, if you'll come forward. Good evening. On the evening of March 29, 2018, Jacksonville Public Safety personnel responded to a residence on Oakwood Avenue for a medical emergency in which the victim was electrocuted. Upon arrival, police officers found the victim unconscious and not breathing. The officers assessed the victim and were unable to locate a pulse. The officer repositioned the victim and began CPR with chest compressions. Fire and Emergency Services Squad number 3 personnel arrived on the scene. Driver Operator 1 Hunt assessed the patient for a pulse, but no pulse was found. He directed Firefighter 2 Sullivan to prepare a bag valve mask and begin ventilations, with the JPD officers continuing chest compressions. Also, County EMS arrived, relieving the JPD officers, who then assisted in ensuring that the scene was safe as possible. The paramedics, with assistance from Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services, applied monitor pads and were advised to shock. Compressions and ventilations were continued. After several assessments and several additional rounds of CPR, a pulse was regained on the victim. The patient was transported to Onslow Memorial Hospital by ambulance. The quick and decisive action by all resulted in reviving the victim. Their actions resulted in preventing a serious tragedy, and they are worthy of receiving the life-saving award. And We're very proud of our people, very proud of them. You work good as a team, continue to do so. You do a lot of wonderful things for the people that you serve. Thank you. Let's get a group photo.
Well, you know they're a team, though, now. Chief. Hey, look. Have others to, Chief, you and. Everybody good? All right, good. Congratulations. Well done. Sir, good to see you. Ma'am, good to see you. Well done.
I would like to ask Captain Ashley Weaver, I guess they've been sworn in one time, so they're deputy chiefs, so we're going to do a formal swearing in, so I'm still going to refer to them as captains right now. So Captain Weaver and Captain Dorn, if you'll step up here, it's not official until I do it anyway, so. I'll get used to it. And your families. You got some family members here. Please, by all means, have them come up with you because I've got a job for them to do. Okay. Ashley Weaver is being promoted from captain to deputy chief of police. She's a native of Pensacola, Florida. Ashley began her law enforcement career with the Jacksonville Police Department over 20 years ago with an assignment to the Uniform Patrol Division. Ashley has served in virtually every division of the agency to include the Patrol Division, the Community Response Team, the Investigative Services Division, and the Special Operations Division. She was promoted to the rank of captain in March of 2011 and most recently served as captain of the investigative services of the department. Ashley earned her Master of Science degree in Public Safety Leadership from Capella University in 2011 and a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics from Mount Olive University in 2006, all while working full-time for the Jacksonville Police Department. She is a graduate of the FBI National Academy, Session 238, and remains active with the FBI National Academy Associates, most recently serving as the president of the North Carolina chapter in 2016. Ashley is a fourth-generation law enforcement officer. She's married to Chuck Weaver, who serves as a lieutenant with the Duplin County Deputy Sheriff's Department, and they have one son, Grayson. Ronnie Dorn is being promoted from captain to deputy chief. Ronnie Dorn is a Jacksonville native with more than 23 years of law enforcement experience. He has served in the Patrol Division, Investigative Services Division, and Special Operations Division, and has served on the department's tactical team and was one of the agency's first K-9 handlers. He was promoted to the rank of captain in March of 2015. Deputy Chief Dorn holds the North Carolina Training and Standards Advanced Law Enforcement Certification. He is a 2009 graduate of the Virginia School of Polygraph and a 2015 graduate of the FBI National Academy 260th session. Deputy Chief Dorn currently holds a Bachelor of Science degree from University of Mount Olive in Business Management and a Master of Science degree in Homeland Security and Emergency Management from Purdue University. Okay, now for the fun part. So what we're going to do is place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right, and you're going to repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Ashley Weaver,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will be alert and vigilant
that I will be alert and vigilant
in performing my duties
in performing my duties
as a Deputy Chief
as a Deputy Chief
of the City of Jacksonville Police Department,
of the City of Jacksonville Police Department,
that I will not be influenced in any matter
that I will not be influenced in any matter
on account of personal bias
on account of personal bias
or prejudice,
or prejudice,
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and execute
discharge and execute
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as a Deputy Chief
as the Deputy Chief
of the City of Jacksonville Police Department
of the City of Jacksonville Police Department
according to the best of my skill,
according to the best of my skill,
abilities, and judgment.
abilities, and judgment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Who's got the camera? You're good.
Very good. That's how they look. Oh, man, awesome. Congratulations. So, I've met him before, way down there.
So step all the way around where you can see it clear.
He's been pinned up by a couple of former deputy chiefs, retired. Deputy Chief Ernie Lynch retired in 1996, and Tim Malfitano just retired about 2 months ago. 3
Ready for some pictures?
Take all the pictures you want. Gina, you can come anywhere you want to take them.
Hey, Mike, step in. Okay, one other picture, I'd like to have the two of you with the chief.
Let him put you to work. Chief, you're going to put him to work, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. Got plenty to do. Very proud of those two folks there coming up in the organization. They've worked hard to get where they're at and deserve being promoted tonight. We have another promotion. That's right. That's right. I've got Chief Yanera and Chief Hardison up here already. I'd like to ask Timothy O'Toole to join us up front, please, with your family. You got all this stuff, Jerry. I need you over here. Okay. Timothy O'Toole is being promoted from captain to assistant battalion chief tonight. Personnel changes and promotional succession at the Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services has resulted in several vacancies. Tim has been selected for promotion to the rank of assistant battalion chief of Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services. Timothy is a native of Elkin, North Carolina, and is an alumni of Elkin High School. He began his career in the fire service in October of 1998 as a volunteer firefighter with the Elkin Fire Department and joined the Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services on July 5, 2004. Tim holds the certifications as a firefighter 1 and 2, technical rescuer, ropes and vehicle and machinery, general instructor level 2, fire officer 2, driver operator pumps, and driver operator aerials. Emergency vehicle driver, NC Fire Inspector Level 1, NC EMT Basic, Hazardous Materials Level 1, Fire and Life Safety Educator 3, North Carolina Fire Arson Investigator, NFA Youth Fire Setting Prevention and Intervention Level 2, and Chief 101. He has been a member of the Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services Honor Guard since 2009. Tim graduated from Appalachian State University in 1997 with a Bachelor of Music Education. In addition, he is a 2012 graduate from Coastal Carolina Community Colleges, where he attended an associate degree in applied fire science. Timothy's wife, Jackie, and son, Colin, are with us tonight and will assist in the pinning ceremony. But first, we'll do the oath. And if you'll put your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Timothy O'Toole,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will be alert and vigilant
that I will be alert and vigilant
in performing my
in
duties
performing my duties
as an assistant battalion chief
as an assistant battalion chief
of the City of Jacksonville Fire and Emergency
of
Services,
the City of Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services,
that I will not be influenced in any matter
that I will not be influenced in any manner
on account of personal bias or prejudice,
on account of any personal bias or prejudice,
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and I will faithfully and impartially
discharge and execute
discharge and execute
the duties of my
the
office
duties of my office
as an assistant battalion chief
as an assistant battalion chief
of the City of Jacksonville Fire and Emergency
of the
Services,
City of Jacksonville Fire and Emergency Services,
according to the best of my skill,
according to the best of my skill,
abilities, and judgment.
abilities, and judgment.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Good job, man. Decorations. All right, man. I got it open for you, man. Done that before, haven't you?
get some pictures. First from the family. Now, Chief Artisan, if you and Mike would come in and flank them on each side, please. Right now, if the wife and son just step out with Mike and Jerry. Yeah. And then one with Chief and Lieutenant. Congratulations. Thanks. Well done. Mayor?
Oh, sorry. We'll move that over there in just a second. I have a rolling thunder. I have the President Joe Ford. Are you present?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, council members.
If you would, please, hold on, we'll get the microphone to the middle.
That way the television audience of 10,000
Thanks.
There you
Mr.
go.
Mayor, council members, thank you for making time for us this evening. On behalf of Rolling Thunder SC5, the Department of Veteran Affairs, and the Veterans Day National Committee hereby designates Jacksonville, North Carolina as a regional site for the observance of Veterans Day 2018.
Did you want to say something while I got you here about the parade? No? Come up here with me. We want a good turnout for the
All
parade.
members of Rolling Thunder, y'all come on up.
Come on. We're going to have a parade.
We are.
You know what to do, Gene. Live, right, live.
You're looking younger every time I see you.
Right.
Help them to it for you.
So tell us a little bit about what's going to happen.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our parade rep, Linda, who's been working diligently and very hard trying to communicate with the community through everything that's been going on so we can get this parade going. It's important for our veterans. It's important for the community. So I don't really want to take up too much of the time because she knows everything that's going on. So Linda, if you please go ahead and.
Well, the parade is November 3rd this year. It starts at 10 a.m. at the Coastal Carolina College. It ends at Bryn Mawr. Applications are down a little bit this year, I think due to the hurricane, but we have at least one more week of applications being accepted, although I do sometimes bend the rules and we'll take like up to almost a week before the parade. So we're looking forward for a good turnout this year regardless of the hurricane, and we hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, and we're looking forward to the parade. So we'll be riding with you.
Okay, thank you.
For all those out there listening or watching on the G10 and in the audience, it's a very nice parade, so you're excused. Yes, ma'am. Come join me, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, please. Most of you know Mayor Pro Tem Michael Lazar right here. He's been with me on the council from the get-go in 2005. We've worked together through thick and thin. He's more thick because he does a lot more work than I do because he's got pizza shops and all that stuff to run. So he stays pretty busy. It's like he doesn't have enough things to do with his time. He served the past year as president of the North Carolina League of Municipalities, which is a big job that takes up quite a bit of the time. But I want you to look at that pretty picture right there. This is the front cover of Southern City Magazine that's put out by the North Carolina League of Municipalities, and my Mayor Pro Tem, Michael Lazar's picture is on the front of it. And we're so proud of the work he's done to help support cities and towns in North Carolina for the past year. And look, he's done such a daggone good job, they're probably going to keep him on indefinitely for a while, because usually they change it out when they have a conference. Well, the hurricane stuff kind of took care of the conference, so they decided not to do it. So welcome aboard for another year. Isn't it? A lifetime. Let's write to league people and say that we want a lifetime appointment.
That won't happen.
All right, so we're coming to our first section of public comment. Before we do, I'm going to give everybody that came out tonight, a lot of you come here for the presentations, and I would like to take a pause right now. I know some of you want to make for the exits. I don't blame you if you do, because we're going to get into the actual, business meeting here. You're welcome to stay. By all means, please stay if you want to. But this is a good opportunity for you to just take your time. We'll take a few minutes. You take your time, speak to each other, whatever you want to do, and we'll resume shortly.
Thank you. That was a surprise. I'm leaving tomorrow. Yeah.
Although I don't get to see much soccer, my little grandson pulls me over to the playground, and I end up spending most of the time there.
Covering for Jeremy?
No, Jeremy's here. I was going to tell the new congratulations. I can sell it anytime.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you. How's everything going?
Good. How about you?
Good.
Good to see you, sir. Yeah.
Rested up from the hurricane?
Yeah, pretty hectic. It's like a month ago.
Yeah. That's great. It'll be great, I'm sure. Good to see you. Congratulations, sir. Yeah. Well, I bet you are. Not as busy as the beach, sir. Did you get hurt? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's good. So you got how many places? 3? No, I got 6. Oh, okay. This one is where's the other one here besides on the ring? Oh, Emily. Okay, in Southwood. Wow. Yours spread out. And you got one at Carolina Beach. They got
Look for that trash can.
Monkey Junction.
He always busy.
And then the Carolina Beach. Yeah. Good. Still operate those on the
Oh, good. Anytime.
yeah, leave it alone. Time broke. Fix it. That's right. Good. It's good. Everything's good right now. Yeah. We're gonna keep it that way. I don't know. Okay, dear. Good to see you this way. Yeah. I'm doing great. Oh, we were blessed. We were. Yeah, we were. Look, Pender and Dipple, my judge said he lost his home because I think 893 homes flooded out Dipple. And of course, down in Pender, some of those places always get flooded. 53, that Orange Grove, the restaurant, things like that. You were, that's great. That's wonderful. Lord. Take care. Good to see you next week. Gail left her iPad on the chair. Somebody picked it up, apparently.
What's that?
I think Gail said she left her iPad on the chair. Somebody picked it up.
Oh, man. Not with all these police officers here.
We found Mr. Mr. Soft.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and resume our meeting. And as I said, we come to our first section of public comment for the evening. I know that no one signed up on the sign-up sheet, but sometimes we take that thing up a little too soon and people don't get a chance. So is there anyone who'd like to come up and speak? Yes, ma'am. If you would come and please identify yourself for the clerk so she can put that in the record.
My name is Kristen Koenig, and I am the program manager with Samaritan Spurs. Just want to say good evening to you guys. It's been a pleasure and a blessing to be here. We've been here in Jacksonville for about a month, providing volunteers and mobilizing volunteers to help mud out homes, tarp roofs, and cut trees, saw trees after the hurricane came through. So just wanted to come tonight to again say thank you guys so much for allowing us to be here. We're currently working in all of Onslow County, but honestly the majority of our work orders are here, right here in Jacksonville. So we have over 1,000 requests for work in Onslow County, and currently we still have over 550 left to do. So plenty of work left to do. Our current end date is the 10th of November. We will stay longer if need be until the requests that we have for work are completed. So we're still taking volunteers, so encourage, I would definitely, if you guys know of anybody who would like to volunteer, you can send them our way. We're at the Port City Community Church just down the road. We're taking volunteers, and we're still taking requests for work too. So if you know of anybody who would like to get help with their home, then we would be happy to do that. So again, thank you guys so much for having me tonight.
I could stay here and tell you all day long, thank you, but I don't think I could express it enough for how wonderful your presence in this community has been, and your selfless, you and your group's selfless service to people that you don't even know, that just are, that have had a hard time, and bring them up, and thank you so much for everything that you do.
Absolutely.
A standing ovation to you and your group.
Thank you so much.
Like I said, I couldn't express it in words, but thank you. Y'all still at the same, working out of the same area? Are you still working out at the same place over at the church down here?
Yes, we're at Port City Community Church.
Okay.
501 Ann Street, I believe it is. So,
Right.
yeah, people are welcome to come down if they need help, just send them our way.
Thank you very much. So, council, we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes. There's minutes from October 2nd, 2018 workshop meeting, and there are 10 consent items. I'd entertain a motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Number 11 on the agenda for tonight's meeting is a public hearing for a special use permit and type 3 site plan for a telecommunication tower at 146 Broadhurst Road. Our planning and inspections senior planner Jeremy Smith be presenting this item. Jerry, if you be sworn, you swear the information you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And we are in.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Agenda item 11 is a telecommunication tower, special use permit and type 3 site plan, 146 Broadhurst Road. Most of you would be more familiar with the site if I said home of the county fairgrounds. This is aerial photography. You'll show that it's bordered to the north by what is now Osprey Point Apartments, used to be Beecham Apartments, the DOT Highway Office, to the east, the Onslow County Board of Education, and further on Wausau offices. This property, along with all those immediately adjacent, are zoned office and institutional, and telecommunication towers in this district require a special use permit. This tower is proposed at 159 feet by Verizon Wireless. As you note on the zoning map before you, the two purple hash areas on the right and left-hand side are our flight path overlay. And this proposed location is not within the flight plan, but you'll see that it fits right in between. So with that in mind, we have worked with the base. They have reviewed this and have no issues. It meets our standards, and they've concurred with our regulations of the red lighting on top and the dark sky standards, and it should not be interfering with their mission. Before you on the screen is the general site plan showing its location off of Broadhurst Road. The base of this tower will be surrounded by a type A buffer, which includes fencing and vegetation. Rusty Monroe with Carolina Telecommunications Services, our consultant, is representing their review, and they have recommended approval of this site. Mr. Jim LePan, who represents Verizon Wireless, is here tonight to answer any questions you may have. Last Monday night, the Planning Advisory Board reviewed this project and is recommending approval along with staff with one condition, that the site plan be corrected to address some minor technical issues. And with that in mind, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Council, any questions?
Approval with findings of fact A through G being found in the affirmative. My apologies.
Council, any questions of Mr. Smith?
I would like to add that we have had one citizen contact us from the church across the street. I know that Dr. Woodruff has had some discussions with them, as well as Mr. Monroe and the applicant. And so they may have some questions for the board as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Gerald. All right, does anyone else wish to speak to this matter? Reverend Brown?
Mr. Mann, members of council.
This is a quasi judicial hearing, and I know I can take your word for everything, but I have to swear you in.
Put your hand on the Bible.
Do you swear that the information you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I know you do. Thank you.
Right. Mr. Mann, council, I am not rising to raise an objection. The persons have been very cooperative. The city manager has telephoned them. They have spoken with me. And all of my fears are alleged. However, even while I'm saying that, I've said to Mr. LePan earlier, if later on we run into any problems, then I will contact them, expecting them to make sure that it's put in right order. I don't expect any, just want that in the minute right now, so that should later on there ever arise a problem, that I can address that. But we are fully supportive of everything, and if it works as planned, we have no objections whatsoever. I just want it to work as planned.
And to clarify, your concern is one of frequency interference. Is
Right.
that correct?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Now, when the persons talked with me today, I was assured that that would not be a problem. What I will do, of course, is to accept that and then to watch to see that it never becomes a problem. If it does, it is in the minute that I was concerned. And with that being said, I'm fully supportive of it.
Thank you, Reverend Brown. I understand your concerns. Anyone else wish to speak on this matter? All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. And Counselor, you're being asked to approve the site plan, special use permit and site plan.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the special use permit and the, was it type 3 site plan with findings of fact A through G being found in the affirmative.
Second.
Conditions. With some
With the conditions.
Condition on the technical.
Nothing on our, with conditions
Yes.
based on findings of fact A through G, okay?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Brings us to one item here, number 12, is non-consent, and this is designation of voting and alternate voting delegates for the National League of Cities Summit Annual Business Meeting. And Mayor Pro Tem Lazar and Councilmember Washington and Jackson are currently registered to attend the NLC Congress of Cities. So I guess we need to nominate someone to be the voting delegate and someone to be the alternating voting delegate.
Mayor Phillips, I'll nominate Councilmember Angela Washington as the primary and Councilmember Jackson as the alternate.
Second.
Are there any other
Move the
nominations?
nominations be closed and the candidates elected by acclamation.
Somebody second that? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That brings us to our last section of public comment, and I think it's moot to go forward with that because nobody else has come back in. So we'll go to the reports, and we'll start with Mr. Warden.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ma'am, thank you for reminding us of how fortunate we are that we have people that care. Not just your organization, there's all kinds of organizations that have helped and helped bring this community together and try to help on the road to recovery, and we thank you. I suspect that you probably have some friends and colleagues who have headed down Florida way to also to help, and we appreciate you. So we appreciate all of the groups that have gone above and beyond the call of duty for love of their fellow man to help others, and we just thank you, and we're blessed that we do have people who care. We are a caring community, so thank you so much. That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Thomas?
No report, thank you.
Ms. Washington?
Again, I would like to echo what Mr. Warden has said and contribute to Samaritan Purse. Thank you for making your presence here and making life a little bit sweeter for our citizens and the contribution of the help that you bring. I don't think I can say enough about our city employees and their diligence with Hurricane Florence and with Michael in terms of trying to get our city in some state of normalcy of what we knew before it. Again, just the leadership and the servitude that they lent to the citizens of Jacksonville is to be commended. So each and every one of our staff employees that went above and beyond their call of duty and the capacity that they have. As a city councilwoman, I am just proud of your efforts and some of the unsung heroes that may not have been recognized for your diligence and your contribution back to the city of Jacksonville. So it makes me proud to recognize you and to know that you are a part of our city and the contributions that you gave back. So I thank you so very much. To our individuals that were promoted to the various different ranks, Deputy Chief Ashley Weaver, and to Mr. Dorn, congratulations on your promotions. I know that you will serve the city of Jacksonville very well. And also to our individuals that were given the life-saving awards. It's just a wonderful testament to know that with all of the training that our police and fire go through, and to be able to know that laws are not being lost, but lives are being saved. Again, it's just a testament of their training and their diligence, but most of all, their dedication to the city of Jacksonville and its citizens. So I thank you.
Thank you. And if you just sign that, I appreciate it and pass it there, Mr. Thomas. Mayor Pro Tem Lazar.
Nothing much to report, Mayor. Just thank you for the surprise today. It has been an honor to serve on behalf of the city of Jacksonville, and thank you for allowing me to take the time to serve. It's been a great experience. Also, our latest endeavor, which I shared with Dr. Woodruff, the league has come out with a program to help offset municipal employees, if they've had losses, personal losses, they can apply. It's not a great deal of money, but it's a start, and I think we rolled that program out yesterday. So we're excited, and hopefully we can utilize some of that. We also need to recognize Dr. Woodruff, who has played a very integral part of RMS, which is our risk management services. He's agreed to serve on that board, and we've had a lot of great changes this year, and he's been a huge part of that. So I want to personally thank you. We've made some great progress with that. Still have a long way to go, but certainly like to thank this council for allowing us to serve on our behalf. So thank you.
Mr. Bittner.
Councilman Washington said very well about the appreciation of our employees, contractors, and so on. And you can't help but think as awesome as a tragedy as Florence was, that so was the response of our employees, contractors we employed, all across the board, and fellow citizens helping one another. Simply makes you glad that you can call Jacksonville a home and call it one city, our community, our city. I'd like to report that also that Onwassa is having their regular meeting this Thursday. And I point out one particular item on the agenda that I believe will be approved is an agreement between Onwassa and the city of Jacksonville allowing or paving the way for interlocal agreements for the providing of water and sewer services in the most efficient and effective manner, no matter whose particular territory it is, but maximizing each other's efficiencies. And particular thanks for City Manager Woodruff and Executive Director Jeff Hudson for thinking outside the box and leading the way to what I think is a far-reaching agreement between two government entities. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson.
Kind of say ditto to what Councilman Warden and Councilwoman Washington already said, but I actually got a chance to see Samaritan's Purse in action down on Wadola Drive. Got a chance to talk to several people that had come in from out of town with Samaritan's Purse and also some of the volunteers from the area. And sometimes a lot is put out about what people aren't doing for each other. And a lot of conflicts is going on around the country, but we've seen some great people in action right here in Jacksonville.
Yes,
and
sir.
Thank you, and we appreciate all you're doing and appreciate all those out there that are helping their neighbors move the city forward. Thank you.
I'm going to echo the same thing without really repeating, but, having sat up there a few times in the EOC and watching our staff handle this situation from the city manager down to the lowest person, that was, working professional all the way, 100%. I felt very comfortable with the people that I serve with their well-being in their hands during this time. We were very fortunate, believe it or not. It could have been a lot worse. If it would have come in like had been predicted, we would be just like those people down there in Florida are now. And we need to say a prayer for those people because they have really suffered a very bad hit down there. But again, everything worked well. We're a strong community. We'll bounce back. We'll clean up. We'll straighten up, and we'll be just as good as new and keep on going. And with that, Dr. Woodruff.
We have some one city moments. Before Glenn rolls that, though, I want to keep with the theme, Mayor, that you talked about regarding the recovery. The last report that I saw, we have now, through our commercial contractor, picked up 260,000 cubic yards of debris. Now, that's kind of like saying a metric ton or 6 liters. Most people don't understand what that is. If you think of 12 football fields, goalpost to goalpost, sideline to sideline, 12 feet deep, that's 260,000 cubic yards of just horticultural debris. It's important for the citizens of Jacksonville, though, to realize that the FEMA assistance relative to horticultural and debris pickup is coming to an end. We already are seeing some of their equipment that was brought in for us going down to Mexico Beach and other places in the Florida Panhandle. We encourage very strongly all of the residents, if you have not gotten your hurricane debris out, you need to get it out by Wednesday of next week. After that, horticultural material is going to be picked up, but most likely it's going to be picked up under normal city regulations. That may mean that you and your insurance company are going to have to find ways to pay for it. I'd like to remind people, 4 piles, one for horticulture, one for household furniture, one for construction, and by the way, wet carpets go in the construction pile, and then one, obviously, for your regular garbage and recycling. Kerry Terrell is to be commended with his personnel for everything they have done in working with the contractor. Wally Hanson, who is back there, is to be really given a star for the outstanding work that he has done in helping us in this recovery. Relative to the One City moment, there are 4 things that we'd like to mention tonight on that. The first, Glenn, is going to be the Yellow Ribbon Campaign. City Council member Jerry Bittner likes yellow because of a number of things, Pittsburgh Steelers included. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
But he was the one who also recommended to the Civic Affairs that we reactivate the Yellow Ribbon Campaign in honor of the 35th anniversary of the Beirut bombing. On October 23rd of this year, it will be 35 years since the start of the war on terrorism. That Yellow Ribbon Campaign is going to encourage every business and residence to put a yellow ribbon on their door, somewhere in their business, and for employees of the city and around the city, citizens to wear the yellow ribbon. The connection to Northwoods Park Middle School should never be forgotten. And working with Mr. Bittner and the Civic Affairs and with Glenn Hargett and others, it was suggested that we contact the students of Northwoods Park Middle School to see if they would make yellow ribbons to be put at the Beirut Memorial Gardens. We're very pleased to tell you that this past week, a number of students who were members of the Beta Club there gathered and they heard a history lesson on the Beirut bombing. Obviously, it occurred long before they were ever born. But that history lesson was led by the Beirut Memorial Advisory Board Vice Chair Ron Bauer. And he gave the lesson, and the young people there were indeed touched. A short time after that, those people got into a city transit bus, and they have now created over 300 ribbons. They did that under the direction of Stephen Patrick of the New River Pottery, who gave his time to show them how to make these ribbons. And this past Friday, the students boarded a bus and went out to the Beirut Memorial Grove, and now we have yellow ribbons on 273 trees. And of course, that is our new Beirut Memorial Grove. Also pleased to tell you that while the storm did damage the trees, it actually, we believe, terminated 43. We had some extra trees, and we were able to contact the vendor in Tennessee, and we have those 43 trees now replaced. So we now have all 273 trees out there again with yellow ribbons. Second matter we'd like to discuss tonight is the Remembrance Run, the Heroes Mile. The Heroes Mile was deployed this past weekend and is part of the annual Remembrance Run. This grew out of the Beirut Memorial Run several years ago, and this past year it returned to the Lejeune Memorial Gardens. The city staff and members of Jacksonville Tourism installed signs, which you will see here, of the heroes who have given all. You will find many people along that mile are displayed, showing our true thanks for the dedication and the true sacrifice they did to keep this country free. More than 100 heroes were honored in the Hero Mile. You know, every now and then, people have car trouble. Flat tires, cars that won't start. Well, guess what? Today, we got a call from a young lady whose name is Juliet Cornino. I'm not sure I pronounced that correctly, but there, that's the best I can do. And what she was saying was her car broke down, it was smoking, she didn't know what to do. And before she knew it, a city police officer and 2 young Marines pulled up to help her. Just to see, ma'am, are you okay? Well, they couldn't fix her car, but they did give her companionship until her husband could get there. And if that's not what One City is about, I don't know what it is. 2 other real quick things. To say goodbye to Florence, and hopefully we won't say any hellos to her sisters or brothers anytime soon. The mayor and council have approved a special night of family fun, all free, this coming Friday night from 6 until 9 at the Jacksonville Commons. We hope that you will bring your family out and participate, whether you're visiting in the community as you folks are, find your way to Jacksonville Commons, or if you're citizens or just anywhere in the area, come on out. I think you're going to find that this is going to be another wonderful event. Lastly, while we're talking about events, we're not too far away from Oktoberfest. Many of you have had the opportunity to visit the Riverwalk Park. You may have noticed that in the hurricane, we had a substantial failure of the storm drain pipe that runs down the middle of Riverwalk Park. Crews have been in there working. It is very doubtful that all of that work will be finished before 2 weekends away. So when you do come to the Oktoberfest and you see a big hole in the ground and a lot of dirt and ribbons around it, we want you to be safe. What we found is that the 36-inch pipe failed in 4 or 5 points. We're in the process of digging it up. It's going to have to be rebedded with proper stone. That's going to take several days. I'm not sure the park will be fully operational by the time that we have the Oktoberfest. Lastly, Mayor and Council, y'all have thanked the staff for what we did during the storm, but I have to tell you, y'all stood tall. Y'all were on G10 TV, you were on Facebook. We appreciate the leadership y'all gave. Well done.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?